of English didn't have books. Thank you. Sunshine has been really happy. Grammar is there and this one is there. So where exactly did we stop with this? Put it in your text again. Again, it's in your locker.
Ma'am, I thought the school would be there, so I would bring it on that day.
So today also you are on holiday.
Yeah.
No online class.
Online class.
So that's what I said. No online class. And how did you manage without all this one?
No, ma'am was sharing the screen. Like most of them didn't get there.
Ah, lovely. Or exactly you have any idea where did you stop? I don't have any student work of course.
From
Standard 3, standard 2.
the people started thinking that it was good that the bird was killed. From that part.
This one.
Yeah.
The third part.
Stanza 3.
Okay.
And I had done a hellish thing and it would work then go for all I would. And why is it written like them as M?
That is the poetic this one, device contractions.
So that's used to shorten the word.
Contraction, how to shorten words.
For all ever I had killed the bird that made the breeze to blow. Wretch said they the bird to slay that made the breeze to blow. Please mind hear.
Wait. So I have done, we realized that he has done a hellish thing. Alright, and it would be work them woe is grief or sadness. Okay. And he says all our I have killed the bird. Means without any reason, basically he's killed the bird that made the breeze blow. Because that was a representation of a folk, that was a representation of like, they can survive positivity. And a wretch, they said, you the bird to say. So wretch is basically a person who is poor person or this one, or when they're blaming, they said the bird to slay, slay is to kill. Okay, that breeze made the breeze to blow. So that is like to kill the bird that made the breeze blow. Okay, now here.
So, ma'am, is it like the time when the ancient miner realized and felt guilty about killing the bird? The people thought that it's good, it's for good that the bird was killed.
Yes, that he killed a person, this one bird which brought good omen, removed positivity, removed this one negativity and brought positivity.
Please mind here that these lines of this ancient miner while they are his fellow sailors. All the shipmates of the ancient miner condemned his action of killing the albatross. They said that he had done a devilish thing and it would bring them misfortune. They said that he had killed the bird of good omen and that had caused the favorable wind to blow. They declared the miner a wretch for having killed the albatross. The hellish thing done by the miner in the stanza is that he had banned only
without thinking, without conscious thoughts, just because he didn't have any reason to kill him, right? And he killed him.
Randomly killed the albatross, an innocent bird of good omen. whose arrival had coincided with the blowing of the south wind due to the commotion of the hellish thing. The ship got stuck in the middle of the hot and sultry silent sea. Not sultry.
Sultry is very humid, very hot.
With no water to drink and no ray of hope to brighten them up, they went through a lot of physical and mental agony.
Yeah. So because of that, like there's no breeze. So breeze, the ship can't move without the breeze. Like it got stuck there. It's very humid, it's very hot, and like it becomes very unbearable. Remember Mumbai also summertime
Yeah.
becomes very unbearable because of keep on sweating and all. So that.
God in now read like God's own head, the glorious sun uprest. Then all avowed, I had killed the bird that brought the fog and mist. To us right, said they, such words to say, that bring the fog and mist.
This also we had done last time.
Yeah, ma'am, we have done till the part that now people start thinking that the bird had
Yeah,
brought
this is what
negativity. Yeah.
this is what it is. The glorious sun uprest. So here we are talking about personification of the sun when it rose,
Yeah.
right? And then like
And the fog,
everybody
the fog
agreed
and
that
mist.
what I have done was correct.
Correct,
I
yeah.
did it because now the bird had got fog and mist. So that is what it is. Now. But now the bright sun neither dim nor red was luminous and glorious like a hallowed head of the which we had done.
How is the sun personified here?
It's talking about the glorious sun uprest. No, this is not personification here. But sun, when you is written as a capital, it's personification where you're giving the quality of human quality here, glory and all that. So here it's basically compared to God.
But then isn't like the proper nouns and written in capital letters?
But sun is not a proper noun.
Oh,
Alright, so that's why it means that luminous, like it belongs to the hallowed head of God. That's what it's compared.
Yeah.
The sun is rising like the like God's hallowed. Alright. Now the sailor declared the mariner did the right thing. We did this last time. The use of simile in the first line. Remember simile?
nor dim nor red.
Like God's own head. So like God's own head is basically
Hallowed.
it's comparing now.
So this also shows that how people forget things and how perspectives are changed.
Very easy.
And,
How?
And the sympathy is like
I told you fickle minded for last time.
fickle minded, yeah.
They are absolutely fickle. One day they're saying, oh, you've done a cursed thing. The next day they say, oh, you've done a marvelous thing. So like that, they are fickle minded.
Is it like all the sailors supported that the albatross should be killed, or like few were?
He killed the mariner, killed the albatross.
Yeah.
So all of them blamed him also together, and all of them praised him also together. Both. Understood? The mariner himself says that I didn't think of the consequences what happened. We act very impulsively and he acted very impulsively. He doesn't realize that what the consequences of killing this one is. As I said, the albatross is representing Jesus Christ. According to Christian by this one, it believes that Jesus Christ was nailed to the cross, but he didn't commit any sins. He was innocent. Like that, even the albatross was innocent, and the mariner, without any reason, killed it. Got it? Now,
February's blew, the white foam flew, the furrow followed free. We were the first that ever burst into the silent sea.
yeah. So that time now, when when afterwards they agreed, so the fair wind started blowing again. Alright, and the white foam. Remember when the waves come, the foam forms. So waves are forming. The furrow float free, like the waves, the wavy wave. This one behind that float free. We were the first that even burst into the silent sea. So again, the ship started sailing, and it went into the silent sea. Alright.
Favorable gentle wind blew, the white foam flew off the surface of the ocean. The ship sailed onward calmly, and the track made by it was clearly visible. It seemed to them that they were the first people who had ever come to that silent sea. There is a use of alliteration in the first line of the stanza. There is a repetition of F and B sounds, which creates a musical effect besides conveying the idea of the smooth
How it was moving, like how it sails.
and swift gliding movement of the ship. Whereas the use of the word furrow illustrates metaphor in the stanza, and the word furrow refers to the splitting of water caused behind a ship due to its forward movement.
But so like you had this tiller at the back. So it keeps on moving, right? So when it keeps on moving, you have
Yeah,
the waves which are
separation,
forming
yeah.
here. So that is the furrow.
So this stanza is all about describing the ship.
Correct. And how like you know like it came down to peace and calm again after it killed. Down dropped the beat, the sails dropped down, was as sad could be, and we did speak only to break the silence of the sea. So, like when they're sailing in the sea, now what happens? The breeze which was helping the ship move, that dropped. It's like it basically stopped, the breeze stopped. And the sails also dropped because when the breeze is not there, the sails will not be up, it will drop. And it was sad as sad could be. Like everything, the whole atmosphere was very sad, very gloomy, very like full of sad this one grief. And we only when these mariners, after a long journey and when they're specifically going for long days, so they basically spoke only to break the silence of the sea because silence also was getting to them. Alright?
What's gloomy?
Gloomy is very, very depressing, very sad.
And sail is that part of the ship.
The cloth,
Cloth,
the mast is the pillar, and the sail is
that helps the ship to move in a particular direction.
Correct.
The breeze.
yes.
The wind stopped blowing, the sails to drop. There was complete silence all around. It was a very sad situation. The leading
Yeah, very frightening. It's scary. As I said, like, silence also can get to you.
eerie silence.
Yeah, eerie is frightening, scary.
Eerie silence of the sea was broken only by the sailors' talk. The breeze had stopped blowing because the albatross's wrongful killing had begun to show its effects. The ancient mariner and his fellow sailors are about to be punished for this sin. It is to be noted that lines in this para create an atmosphere of eerie silence and absolute inactivity. The atmosphere leaves the sailors full of suspense, fear, and uncertainty.
Yeah, because you don't know what is going to happen because it's absolutely silent. There's no movement around. There's no sound. So if silence, as I said, gets to you. Like that kind of suspense atmosphere. You don't know what is going to happen next. That is built. Alright. All in a hot and copper sky, the bloody sun at noon, right up the mast will stand no bigger than the moon. So now the sun, there is the equator, the sun, the mast, I told you, is where the sails are tied. The pillar, what do you call the wood. Remember, and from there you just climb up to see the directions of the hills. You have seen Pirates of the Caribbean, you have the mast in the center and the sails at the side. So here, so the sun is hot because they're in the equator and they're right, when the sun is on the equator, it's right above your head. Alright? Copper sky, the color of the sky is copper. Alright, the bloody sun, the sun is looking bloody, like full red. At noon, right on your head, because 12 o'clock in the noon, the sun is right over your head. Right up the mast is statue. It's again personified that like the sun is standing over the mast. Alright? No bigger than the moon. Yeah.
Mars is
I told
right above.
you the ship, the thing which where the sails are tied is called a mast. And over the mast the sun was there, as if it is standing over the mast. You know what is a mast, Ananya?
That wooden piece.
Yes, let me show you mast. Before we begin, this is a mast.
Okay.
I knew if I didn't show you, you would misconstruct everything under the sun. See, this is the mast and these are your sails.
Sails, yeah, okay.
That's why I asked you, did you see Pirates of the Caribbean? And then here on the mast they have this.
Okay. I thought it's like that kind of, the white one.
That is the sail. This center, this one is the mast, this wood.
But there's no space for a person to stand.
No, this is a yacht, no?
Yeah, okay. It's like out on the ship.
Yes, this is a yacht. So yacht, you don't require what is this called? I forgot. It's called this sea something. Pigeonhole or something it is called. Okay, so this is only on the ship. Yacht, this is a yacht.
That's mechanically handled, right?
Yeah, it can be mechanically. Nowadays, even your ship is nowadays mechanically
Yeah.
handled. You don't have mast most of the time.
They had this thing to
That
for the
is a
direction.
steering
Yeah.
wheel.
Yeah, for the direction.
That is a steering wheel. That is different. My God, Ananya, asked, I would have shown you the picture. Luckily, I remember this one. Got it? What is a mast?
Yes, ma'am.
This is your mast. That is a yacht. I know the yacht also there is a mast. And these are your sails. This one or this.
Side up, yeah.
This is your mast.
No, I thought you were talking about the white part. The wooden part is the mast and the cloth part is the
Yeah,
sail.
nowadays it may not be a wooden part also, there may be a plastic one or depending on how convenient it is, how lightweight they require. Or the yacht has different kind of mechanism. Okay? Now,
And what's the last time bigger than the moon?
so compared to the moon, the sun was the same size. Okay? Otherwise, the sun is not as small as the moon, right? It is bigger.
So it's like the sun
Here,
is very far
the
away.
sun and the moon are compared, and when you looked at the size of the sun, it was exactly the size of the moon.
So it's similar, right?
No, this is a comparison. This is not a simile.
Yeah.
I told you wherever as and like comes, then it is this one. Here it is. That is bloody sun and moon right up of the mast is stand no bigger than the moon. So it is compared with the moon. Okay, look.
The sky looked like heated copper. The sun looked blood red. Even at noon, it stood vertically above the mast and looked as small as the moon. Again, there is the use of a metaphor in this stanza when the poet says a hot and copper sky and the bloody sun. The sun is blazing red and scorching hot. It is also blood red in color, hence it has been called bloody sun. To the sailors, the harsh weather signifies that they have to face and suffer under this type of weather due to the sin of killing of albatross. It is said it is a part of the punishment they being subjected to. These lines also tell about the location of the ship. The ship is on or near the equator because the sun is very harsh and is at a vertical angle at noon, a phenomenon that occurs in the equatorial region only.
Yeah, so if you see Maharashtra also the line of equator passes through
Yeah.
Maharashtra and whichever city it passes through it's very hot.
Yeah.
Like Nagpur is one of the cities which is closer to the equator. Now in the summertime it is 48 degrees there.
Yeah.
So that's what you have. That is what it is. So when the when you feel very hot, when you're near the equator, you are going to be extremely like you feel the heat wave coming. Alright. Day after day, we are stuck, no breath, no motion, and idle as a painted upon a painted ocean. So, like how you do a painting, like how like it's still, nothing is moving. Like that, the ship also was standing still in the ocean. Day after to talk about the longevity of the time like passed, but neither there was like they were stuck. They are not moving forward, they're not moving backward. They're just stuck. No breath, no motion. There's no kind of breeze, no motion in the ocean, and that's what he says. It's like this. Like here, it is a simile as an idle painted ship or a
Yeah.
painted ocean. So it's like this picture. When you paint a picture, how it is like it's show a ship on the ocean, like that it was standing.
Yeah, so it's like it's so still that
Yes, it is
almost
compared to
feels
a
like-
picture. As if somebody has painted the ship on the ocean.
So, ma'am, is it like now the sailors begin thinking that it was they have committed a sin by killing an albatross?
Yes. Which was innocent, right? When you kill an innocent, that is the consequence. They started thinking like this is what the reason why we are suffering.
Clearly,
Yes.
the ship remained stuck at one place day after day. It did not move because there was neither wind nor tide. It looked just like the picture of a ship on the sea. The ancient mariner and his fellow sailors on board their ship were stuck in the middle of the silent sea, and they were brought into this condition because the mariners had drifted into the silent sea where there was neither wind nor tide. So, ma'am, it's like they lost the direction and went.
They were on the silent sea. Okay, they didn't lose the direction. But the thing is what now no breeze was moving, so neither ocean waves also the tides we were absolutely quiet, peaceful. There was nothing at all, no movement at all. So they, as if like they you got stuck. When you can't move forward, you can't move backward, you're just stuck there. So it's basically they got stuck there in the sea. And the sea is a like if you've been to Marine Drive, right? When you look at the horizon, you see it's endless. It's like you can't see anything. And the ship is just standing there. There's no waves, nothing. It's absolutely calm and this one. But that's what they are stuck day after day. Means they are not moving for days, and you get kind of crazy when you don't move for days.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were brought into the condition because the miners had written that they never need a Bima died, and they were stranded there. There's a use of simile in the last two lines of the sun that graphically describes the picture of a become
The calm ship is very, very silent, very calm ship.
on a silent and still ocean, hence it is very apt that and the repetition conveys the sheer length
Of time, day after day, day after day. He's talking about how long they were stuck on this and not at sea, right? They were not moving. Water, water, and like when they stand in there, there's water, water everywhere. You would, if you see movies, you will see that when, like, stranded person, like, water, person who's stranded in the ocean, when they come to the land, they start kissing the land, because you go mad, you go crazy, you're seeing only water, water everywhere. So this is the same thing, water, water everywhere, and all the boats did shrink because it is so hot. So everything started shrinking, all right? Water, water everywhere, not any proper. You can't drink ocean water.
It's all
Yes. So the same thing is like there's water. That is the irony, na? Like you have water, so much of water, but you can't drink it. And the survival becomes very, very difficult. So here again it is saying that how tough survival became. How difficult it became for them.
The mariner says that though the ship was surrounded by water on all sides, yet the very body of the ship began to crack and shrink because of the excessive heat.
Because I said equator, when near the equator, the heat is very, very intolerable.
And the ship is made up of
wood. So what happens? The water also, the sun and the wood also dries up.
Yeah. So shrink means cracking and
cracking is different. Shrinking is, have you seen a raisin?
Yeah.
Kishmish, what we call.
Yes.
It is made of what, beta?
Grapes and dry up.
And what is, when you look at it, the kishmish, how it is?
It's like shrunk.
Correct. Remember they were plump before. When you even eat, what happens? It shrinks. And that's how raisins are formed, right?
Yeah.
Exactly that. So that is called shrinking. So wood, what like this wood, if it is exposed to that, so what will happen? Your cracks will start forming and it will start shrinking.
And moist, and it may get destroyed.
Yeah.
These lines have the repetition of the W sound, while the repetition of the line water, water everywhere signifies the peculiar
Phase. Strange change.
The sailors had to face. Although they were surrounded by an immeasurable amount of sea water, they had not a drop of water to wet their parched mouths, dry,
Thirsty.
The repetition gauges the extent of the misery, and the sailors have not a drop to drink because the supply of fresh water was exhausted, and they simply could not drink the safe water.
So it shows how miserable their condition was. Because they were stuck in the sea, there's water everywhere, they're all the rations which they have brought. Water is also called rationing. So everything has been it's over and they can't drink the sea water. So that is what.
They have to stock up for the particular time and
yes, they do. When you're traveling for days, they take into account how much food you require, how much water you require. When you're going on a ship, they always carry backups and all that.
But the salt water we can consume for little amount, right?
Little amount, but then you get dehydrated. You're in the equator, you get dehydrated very fast, and salt will, it will spun your dehydration.
In ships, there are those secret rooms and
cubicles.
Yeah. So they can go.
Nobody predicted that this was going to happen, no?
Okay.
See, as you said, accidents you cannot predict, and this is something like this they couldn't predict. No? Like they will be stuck in the sea for days and days and days, with nothing anywhere. So The very deep did rot, O Christ, that ever this should be, yet slimy things did crawl with legs upon the slimy sea. And like everything was rotting, and like that this should ever be, this should ever happen. Christ is remembering Christ in this one. And slimy things climbed up the ship. Alright? Yeah, and slimy sea monsters,
Sea
basically,
monsters.
saying upon the slimy sea. So,
The sea itself began to rot due to no movement in the wind or the water. Very repulsive sea creatures could be seen crawling with their ugly legs on the sticky and slimy dew-like water of the sea. It was a horrible sight to see. They remarked that Lord Christ should save everyone from such a frightening situation.
you can remember God, like God should save us from the situation.
The very deep here refers to the sea which was stagnant, warm, and full of stench. In these lines, the ancient miner invokes Christ
Calls upon. Invokes is call upon.
because the invocation conveys the ancient miner's deep sense of agony and repentance at having killed the albatross. Now only Christ can save this rotten and sinful soul.
Okay, that is what you like. I told you, Christian philosophy. When you repent and you ask for forgiveness, then you are forgiven. So that is what it is. So here also he's calling Christ because he knows that what he has done was a sin. Because murdering any person, whether any person or any animal, is supposed to be a sin. All right, and that's why his soul is rotting. You know what is rotting,
Yeah.
right?
There is an element of irony in this invocation while the ancient miner seeks Christ helps to save his soul after committing the sin of killing a Christian soul that is albatross. Albatross is a Christian.
Representation of Christ. Okay.
Is this the last stanza?
Hopefully, no. 12, 13, 14, how many, 4 more chapters, hopefully. Okay. About in wheel and round the dead fire dance at night, the water like the witch's oil, one blue, green, blue, and white. So here, like dead fires roamed and the death basically roamed all over the sea and all that. And the lights appeared to be dancing. Dead fires dance at night, and so the light like witch's oil. You remember the quadrant the witches do magic. The oil, when you look at the oil, that is blue, green, blue, and
Yeah.
white. Like that, the whole sea was looking like that. Okay. Twilight, if you see northern lights, remember how different color northern lights are there. The sea is reflecting that kind of light. So,
So these are the imaginations.
yeah, because like they've exposed huge exposure on of the ocean and all that, and like no movement anywhere is like they start hallucinating also. Okay, so that is what.
Death fires shone and hovered all about them at night. The luminous lights appeared to be dancing and beating around the ship. The sea water burned like the oils burned by the witches, emitting multicolored lights. The stanza has simile in the last two lines. The reference here is to the three witches in Shakespeare's play
This is an
Macbeth.
allusion. Huh? Allusion is when you're taking reference of a story.
So,
That is an allusion.
the water seems to be burning with crackling sparkles of many colors, burning due to the heat and
Yes.
the element of the supernaturalism here prepares us for what is to follow. The reel and the route, though, actually is a type of dance movements. Here they describe the movement of the death fires as they fly, while the death fires represent evil forces or death.
Yeah. So it's talking about death being hovering and dancing about and getting ready to take all the souls from the ship. Alright. And some in dreams assured were of the spirit that made us so. 9 fathom deep he had followed us from the land of mist and snow. So again the spirit of the albatross is haunting them, and in dreams they are dreaming of the spirit, and then it plagued them, it tortured them. Okay. And 9 fathom deep. Now
Torture
fathom
them mentally, right?
dreaming no, in their
Yeah.
dreams. So 9 fathom is the unit to measure the
Death.
depth of the ocean. Because 9 fathoms deep, he followed us from the land of mist and snow. So he's talking of the albatross and followed them from the land of the sun. So they're torturing them, And they're feeling, actually they're feeling guilty. That's why they're getting tortured.
Yeah.
You know, when guilty conscience doesn't allow you to sleep peacefully, it keeps on plaguing your mind. You keep on dreaming about it. So that is what it is referring to.
Some of the sailors had a dream that a spirit was avenging the death of the albatross and had been following the ship from the land of mist and snow. It had been moving all the while 9 fathom deep in the water. It is to be noted that some has been used for the fellow sailors of the ancient mariner in the very first line of the stanza. A 9 fathom deep means a fathom that is the measure of depth equal to 6 meters. Thus, the polar spirit was following the sailors 54 meters underwater. Please note that
Coleridge is the poet, his
Yeah.
line, his
Yeah. obsession with the number, yeah, number 9 is again evident here, as it was in the case of
first man.
So 9, it's not exactly the measure, right?
No.
It's just
It's
assumed
just
assumption.
Coleridge loves to use the number 9 and is fascinated with the number 9. So that's what he again says 9 fathoms deep. So it means it's actually following the sailors through it,
So
then
it's
bringing
like
him
in
torturing
every
them.
poems he
Yeah,
mentions.
he uses it. And every tongue that uttered drought was withered at the root. We could not speak no more than if we are choked with food. So now, how dried up they are because they're parched, they're absolutely thirsty because they're their condition. So every tongue, he's saying every tongue through utter drought. Drought is when it is like, geography
Yeah.
one is when it is cracked, right? But here it is because of thirst and was completely dry. The tongue was dry, not even saliva could disinvent it, and was withered at the root, the very root from the throat, because it didn't have, it's like they didn't have any water, and because of that, they could not speak. The throat was fully parched, they could not speak. And if they tried, then it will be the soot. Soot is what? After the fire is burned, what remains is the soot.
Yeah,
Right?
ash.
The ash. So here, so all the dust would come out of there.
So soot is ash.
Yes, soot is ash.
For utter want to water, the sailors' tongues dried up at the very root. They just could not speak. They felt as if their throats had been choked with soot. Sorry, that's soot. There is a use of metaphor in these lines. The comparison is between the dry and dehydrated tongues and the roots of a plant which have been withered due to lack of water.
Okay, so they're thirsty because they can't drink seawater and they are exposed to the sun. So both place, what happens? Their bodies also drying up. They're getting dehydrated also.
Where the sailors die.
That's what he has to tell the tale. He has to live to tell the tale, the ancient mariner. That's what he's telling now, the wedding guests.
Yeah, okay.
Ah, well a day that evil looks had I from old and young. Instead of the cross, the albatross, about my neck was hung. So they took the albatross and they hung it around his neck. Alright. The evil looks I had from the old and young. So the ancient mariner was blamed for their plight. Okay, they blamed him and they took the dead albatross and put it around his neck. So that's why he's carrying this albatross, and even when he's talking to their wedding guests, he has the albatross
Was
around
he
his neck.
carrying the albatross?
They had put the albatross to represent their his sin, to represent his sin. Alright. Look, so whether it was old, whether it was young, every single sailor was accusing the ancient mariner, and that's why they took the albatross and hung it around his neck.
Sailors looked at the mariner accusingly. They could not speak, but their looks revealed the contempt they felt for him.
Contempt is hatred or dislike, strong dislike.
They removed the cross from round his neck and hung the dead albatross there as a punishment for his evil deed. The poet or mariner here says instead of the cross, the albatross was hung around his neck because many Christians wear a cross around their necks as a protection against evil forces. The sinful soul of the ancient mariner needs a cross to save itself. The sailor's instant hung the dead albatross round his neck as the mark of his sin and guilt. This stanza again shows this changed attitude of sailors towards the death of albatross. Firstly condemned by saying that the albatross was a bird of good omen, then made the breeze to blow. Later on, they approved of its killing and held it responsible for the fog and mist. Then once again, they accused the mariner for making the life miserable by killing albatross.
Okay, so again and again they have to kill my as we said.
Yeah.
They are not this one constant on
And
the
once
wall.
they are in trouble, they are blaming the marina.
Marina. We have a tendency, na, when we are in
Yeah.
trouble, we blame the other person very fast. We
Yeah.
don't think about what we have done. And like here, the albatross is the innocent soul. So that's what when you were talking about that, you have to repent for your sin. You're wearing this cross. It's a reminder, like, you have to pay for your sins and like you have to bear your own cross. I think this is the last one.
So, ma'am,
Yay.
this poem shows how people's perspective change with time.
Yes. You have the ancient marina in your book. I use this one.
Yes, ma'am. Every para is explained.
That's all good. Because you require that. Let's take some the long answers.
The answer of the questions, right?
Yes.
And there's one, long answers.
Yeah, I want the long answers. What is the role of the wedding guest in the poem?
Yes, good question.
That is page 76.
Yes, uh, what's one day in life?
Normal, boring.
How the medical set is a contrast with the conventional world and mysterious trees. Perception. Ma'am, but the guests only asked the minor to allow them to enter the groom's brides.
The ancient marina was cursed. That means he had to tell his story to the person whoever he gets.
Okay.
Understood? So in order to for his like penance, to pay his penance, that is what was his penance. That he has to tell his story, what he has done. He has to confess his sin to anybody who's willing to listen. And this wedding guest, he catches this wedding guest and he makes him listen. Remember, he hypnotizes him with this one. First he held his heart and later he got hypnotized and he had to tell the story. Because he was cursed to tell it. Remember the Pirates of the Caribbean also there's a curse there.
Yeah.
So die like that, he's cursed. He has to tell his story again and again. Go through the question answers, you will do this one. Okay?
There's long questions and page number 80.
Yeah, I can see that. Will be the infinite committed sin for which he deserved such a punishment as his given.
There can be two views, right? Yes, I feel that the ancient mariner had committed a sin because till the time when the albatross came to them, they, uh, there was adequate breeze which helped them to move from one place, and uh, the mist and fog was also cleared. So until and unless the things were going for them, the marina felt that the albatross was a good omen. And one day and they used to feed the albatross as well in return, as the albatross showed them the direction and helped them to move between the icebergs. And then one day, the ancient marina, uh, he just killed the albatross because as he was not in a good mood or what.
Yes.
And one day, the ancient marina wasn't in a good mood and had picked up the bow and arrow and killed the albatross. So he did commit a sin, and because of which he was suffered for days and was stranded in the middle of the ocean with no water left and no food. Yeah.
Okay. What about this? It's a ballad.
Which one?
The rhyme is lyrical ballad.
They write the ancient Rime as a lyrical ballad as it tells a story in a form of a poem. I need to explain how the story goes.
How the story is a ballad.
Uh, yeah, because it tells a story in a lyrical form and
It has follows a particular rhyme and rhythm.
rhyme and rhythm and personifies things and metaphor and scene.
Ballad is a story. You have to just
Story,
explain.
story, okay.
You have to talk about lyrics and how it is lyrical. It has lines, it has rhythm and all that. And first explain what is the ballad.
Like how can I explain it like for 1 minute? Ballad.
You will definitely explain. Okay.
The Rime of the Ancient Rime was composed by Samuel Taylor Coleridge in 1797 to 98 and was published in 1798 as a part of the collection Lyrical Ballads. The poem is notable for its vivid imagery. So all these things are the
Yes.
The poem begins with an ancient mariner.
Yeah.
Open that link.
No, this one. Don't open all the links because it will confuse more and more confuse this one. See, this is a this is how you're talking about.
Ballads and clarity dance song in England. It was first introduced by the minstrels. It is first applied to the native sing song.
So rhyme and rhythm I told you become very important in a ballad.
A song in short rhymed stanzas. The name is also used for the other folk songs. Jets. Is it jets or yes?
Yes.
Jets and nines. Later on, the term come to be applied to short, vivid
Narratives. Ballad is a narrative story.
consisting of one or more cantos of 4 line
So if you
stanzas.
see your stanzas, 4 line
Yeah.
stanzas.
So it can't exceed that.
Normally no. Normally we keep it short than this one.
4 line stanzas in rough rhyme and rhythm. Themes are drawn from the elementary aspects of life, tales of adventure, fighting of prowess and
Valor.
valor. So, ma'am, can we like differentiate between a
This
ballad
is
and a
what-
poem as well?
Yeah. This is what you have to write.
Coleridge combines the features of the old form with the modern. All the simple beauty of the old ballad is there, with none of its extravagances.
Extravagances. Extravagant.
Extravagances.
Story and theme. So you're talking about here the story and theme and how it's brought about in a ballad and you're talking about adventure. Because ballad has that story and theme, it has adventure, it has supernatural. Especially the dead started dancing
And
and all that.
moral values.
Primitivism, again when you're talking about how it's like, the killing was inauspicious, the elemental forces uncontrollable, you're talking the witches, the dark dances were like that, okay? Technical device, you're talking about narration is real, vivid and powerful, dramatic, it's a dramatic this one, and convincing and economic. So like it was all alone. Your repetition is used here. Repetition and the poetic form. Usually 4 lines. You know, this is what is the poem of short stanzas. Usually there are 4 lines, and the lines are iambic. You know what is iambic?
Um,
Stress and unstress syllables. Na? Words are made from stress and unstress syllables. So that is what iambic.
and it tells us the moral values.
Yeah. Alliteration is used and modern touch is used.
Ma'am, in this it was mentioned that ballad are
Yeah.
from romantic plays, so it's like nowadays ballads are not made.
Ballads are made, but not.
Speak.
Yeah, it's like the modern poetry doesn't use ballad. Okay. So here it is. Okay. Alright, any other question was there?
What a question in the form of the sailors in the poem.
So you also can mind it, and you can talk about one day they are telling they were praising him, the next day they were accusing him and all that. Okay, those three stanzas where it comes. Then do you think the title is that?
Uh,
The Rime of the Ancient Marina?
uh, yes, I think that the title is apt because it tells about the sins that have been done by an ancient mariner and how
What were the consequences?
and yeah, about the consequences and how he's paying for it like now and how he has been cursed for killing an albatross.
Yes. Poem is based on concept of sin and repentance in the same place. Alright, loving the creation of God, worshiping Him, and particularly don't respect the creation of God, you have to no right to be loved and respected.
This is with respect to albatross.
Correct. So you have to use that. Okay. Now we will do not stone, not gilded. What do you think it's all about? You have done it in school, no?
Uh, yeah, it tells the stages of. I don't know. Our class teacher was contrasting it with the seven ages from ninth.
Okay. Similar things.
It's like the stages of life.
Okay. You tell me, I'm listening.
I actually don't know much about the poem.
You were absent again.
No, we were having the exhibition practice.
Agreed, but what is this? Not showing PPT. Why is it not showing PPT? Not marble. That's why I got getting that. Alright. So basically, it's saying that written word will survive. The whole poem is about that. He says, what is written for the lover, he will survive. But neither marble nor gilded monuments will survive. Okay? Man-made creations will be destroyed by time,
The emotions will stay forever.
but the written words will stay forever. This poem will survive ages, and it did survive, isn't it? So, like if you see all the pyramids built, they are eroded, they are broken.
Yeah.
All this one, when you're talking statues, remember the big statues with the name, that also got spoiled. But the only thing when you're talking about written word, Shakespeare has written this sonnet and it survived through ages.
Yeah.
So that's what he's talking about here. No marble, no gilded stones. So William Shakespeare had written it. This is a sonnet of William Shakespeare. Sonnet is a 14-line poem, okay? And William Shakespeare has this is sonnet 55. This is his 55th sonnet. Alright, Shakespeare was born in 1564 and Stratford. He died in 1668. He's written 154 sonnets and long narrated poems and 3 dozen plays. He's considered to be many of the greatest dramatists of all time. He wrote 154 sonnets, 2 long narrated poems, and about dozen plays. The used poetic and dramatic means to create a unified aesthetic effect in verse. He perfected the dramatic and the dramatic blank verse. The not stone like gilded now. Not marble nor gilded monuments of princes. Like princes made monuments, princes this country, the ruler. He says, shall outlive this powerful rhyme, this powerful poem. It will not outlive. So he's saying neither marble is going to outlive, neither the monuments which was created by the princes is going to live. But only this powerful rhyme, this powerful poem will survive through time. Alright, but you shall shine more bright in these contents than Akshar sown disfigured with sluggish style. So he's calling time as a slut, the slut. So he's saying that, time also is not your friend. Understood? Time is not yours. But he says, but you will shine through these verses, these lines which I have written. Your personality will shine through these verses than unswept stone, stones eroded through time and besmeared by the sluggish time. It is because besmeared is basically spoiled, or when it is rotten or when it is eroded, it will all get eroded by sluggish time because time is no one's friend. Alright? When wasteful wars and statues overturn, wars take place between kingdoms, and because of the wars, there's massive destruction and chaos. So he said wasteful war. That's why he's calling war wasteful. Shall which statues overturn? Statues will break. They will do this one. And broils root out the work of masonry. Broils is fight. Broils are fight. Will root out the work of masonry. Masons take a lot of effort to build a building, and that they will also just will be washed out. Alright? Now Mars. Now your Mars is the goddess of war. So now Mars is sown, now war's quick fire shall burn the living record of the memory. So it says neither Mars can do anything, the goddess of war can't do anything, nor the fire which is caused because of war. They cannot burn the record of your memory, because in this written life. Against death and all obvious enmity. So even death cannot erode your memory, neither can obvious enmity. Enmity is enemy. Okay, when you dislike somebody. Shall praise forth your praise, shall find room even in the eyes of posterity that bear this world out at the ending of doom. Ending of doom is when the world comes to an end, and he is having a positive note that when the world comes up the end, now in Christian philosophy. Like when the world comes at the end, he's believing that his lover is going to be resurrected. When Christ comes down, when the world is end, doom says that when the world ends, Christ is predicted that Christ will come back, and like all those who have died, the just people who have died, they will be risen from the dead. So he said, you will live in posterity of the world, but all those monuments and all that will wear out with time. Okay. So till judgment day that you shall yourself arise. So when judgment day comes, when you will be judged, you will arise. These are the positive that you will arise, that means you will be resurrected. You will live in this.
Judgment here signifies
the day, judgment day is when the world will end, and people will be judged according to what they have done. Understood? Yeah. They will say either they will go to hell or they will go to heaven. So he said, they will be resurrected. They will be alive again. Resurrection means there is a life. Like Jesus is one with this. Christian philosophy is that, right? That Jesus rose from the dead. Right? He died. Good Friday day he died. Easter Sunday he is risen. Understood? And then he goes up to heaven. So that is what it is. Judgment day is that he will come back on earth, and those who have he will judge. Then those who are the righteous will go to will again rise from the dead. They will be alive again, and those who are dead will be those who have committed sins will go down to hell. Alright. So what is that mean? He's saying that he's telling his lover that you shall arise again. Alright. You will live in this. You will again live and dwell in the lover's eyes, and again you will start dwelling in the lover's eyes. Alright? The sonnet read.
The sonnet, not marble nor the gilded monuments, brings out the
Futility. Futility is like uselessness. Okay?
of statues and ornate monuments raised by the rich and powerful to immortalize themselves. The ravages of time on these monuments defeat the very purpose of building them and rob their architects of the pleasure of being remembered by the generations to come. The poem also brings out the poet's faith in his verse and his ability to outlive the transient monuments.
Okay? Monuments will come and go, but like my words will survive,
Yeah.
and even my lover will come back after resurrection. He'll be resurrected from the dead.
Lover here is signified as the people who is beloved towards him and who reads his poem.
Yes.
And that was all the poem.
Yes, it's a short poem. I don't read it. Read.
Sonnet 55 is part of William Shakespeare's famous sequence of 154 sonnets, first published in 1609. This sonnet, like many in that book, is addressed to a handsome
Yeah, handsome young man. I told you his lover. Known as a fairy.
And claims to be a living record of him, a tribute that will outlive any statue. Stone, the poem claims, will be destroyed in war before too long. The poem, on the other hand, will keep the fairy's memory alive until the Christian Judgment Day. And so far, this poem has proved its own claim. Besides, it predicts it's all being
Read hundreds of years after it's written. Because Shakespeare's read it, we're still reading. So this is the meaning. Read.
Neither expensive stone
Statue.
statues nor gold-covered monuments to the ruling class will live as long as this mighty poem. Through this sonnet, you will shine more brightly than any statue ruined by messy, careless time. When goers come along and topple statues and conflicts undo the skilled works of masons, not even Mars, the good god of war, himself of war's speedy fires shall destroy this living memory of you. Defeating the forces of death and indiscriminate hostility, you will march ever onwards. Praise of you will always have a place among all future generations. Until the forces of history bring this world to end time, until the end of time at Judgment Day, you will be resurrected.
Resurrected and will not brought back from the dead.
Yeah, you live through this poem and in the eyes of the lovers who read it.
Clear? So meaning is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is short poem. That's why it goes very fast.
It's short and it's not that difficult like the ancient one.
No, it is not. That's
Now
why.
we have completed my portion for the half year.
But we have to move ahead, Ananya. You have one more drama to go, and you have your one more that one to.
So we'll continue like from the next class.
Yes, sir.
And what about the grammar part?
You for which grammar concept you want to get the touch on grammar also.
I'll just check once with the syllabus.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Let me know which grammar you want, and we will do next.